BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. These three companies are the largest shareholders of 88% of S&P 500 companies. Let me say that one more time. You got 500 companies, S&P 500, 88% of those companies, their largest shareholder of those companies is either State Street, Vanguard, or BlackRock, okay? You know how much total money there is in the world circulating? You know the total money? It's around $430 trillion, $440 trillion. They control $66 trillion of the entire world's wealth. When I say control, I mean influencing is what they can do. So when you're seeing some of these companies making the kind of decisions that they're making, you're asking yourself, why would they do such a thing? That is so stupid. You know, right now, if you wanted to go be nominated for an Oscars, I don't know if you guys know the data with nominating for Oscars, what percentage of your employees need to be part of a LGBTQ community, what percentage of your employees, actors, editors, cutters, a percentage needs to be from Native Americans, disability, LGBT, black. If you don't, you cannot be nominated, which means almost every single movie in the history of Oscars that won an Oscar would have never won with today's guidelines. That's how pathetic this is getting right now with the direction they're going to influence what you're going to be doing with whatever company or project you're running.
Now, you haven't said this explicitly, but I can kind of read between the lines. If your theory on all of this turns out to be true, is this stuff that you're nervous to be saying online?
No, I'm not nervous to be saying online.
But we know what happened to other people that potentially had knowledge.
All I'm saying to you is the following. Everything I'm saying to you, you need to go do your own due diligence. Type in 88% S&P 500, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. Are you okay with that? That's what you got to ask yourself. For example, there's not a single other phone I want than an iPhone. I've had an iPhone since 2008, okay? I've had an iPhone since 2008. I love an iPhone. I love the iPhone, okay? If I look at what a Droid looks like in an iPhone and I use a Droid, I'm always going to come back to an iPhone, okay? If you're a Droid, what's the annoying thing about an iPhone person texting a Droid person?
Green.
Green. Mm-hmm. When you're on a flight, I can't talk to you. Or if I'm creating a group text and you're a Droid person, you screw the whole thing up. Do you know, I often think about not adding the Droid person in the group text I'm sending because you're annoying me. I can't communicate with you. So watch this. They're now 58% of market share is this. The monopoly law in America is 50%. We don't have another phone company that's competing with these guys. I was a diehard Nextel person. I love the Nextel. The Nextel BlackBerry that they had was phenomenal. You know, the old Nextel, you guys are too young to remember, but there was a Nextel BlackBerry. We need somebody to want to compete with this. We need others to want to compete with this. So if it doesn't concern you, don't do it. But if you have three companies that have influence in 50 different industries, that ought to be something we should be concerned about. Okay, because they're going to be around for a while. The president's going to come in 1 term, 2 term, 8 years. There's not a lot they can be doing. But these guys are going to be around for decades.
But for your own personal safety, you're not nervous about saying any of these things there, potentially?
No, I'm not. I'm not for my personal safety at all.
Who do you think is the most powerful man on the planet?
Some of those names I gave, I don't think it's the president. I think president is one of them. I think the people that run any of the virtual governments, they're for sure one of the most powerful men on the planet. Facebook, Zuck is on that list. You know, Elon is now on that list. I think the Google guys are more low-key, but they're also on that list on what influence they have. Bezos is on that list with the control that he has. But it's the Finks, it's the Soros, his son Alex that's going to take over. And then next comes some of these guys that are the media moguls. You know, Rupert Murdoch is still on that list. It used to be Ted Turner, but Ted Turner is not running CNN anymore. When they sold Time Warner, they screwed him over. He should have kept running that organization. That man would have been the most powerful man in America, if not a top 5 powerful man in America. But yeah, these are some of the names you have to be really, really careful with. And by the way, think about how most people learn. What do you think most people learn about Oppenheimer? How do you think most people for the first time ever learned about Oppenheimer? You think they read a book on it? You think they went and studied Oppenheimer? You think pre the movie coming out, if you ask the average person who's Oppenheimer, they're like, man, is that a beer from Germany? What is this? No, it's not a beer. It's a guy that is the nuclear bomb. And Einstein, no way. Yeah, most people learn about Oppenheimer through what? A movie.
Right.
Most people learn about Howard Hughes through what? Movie. Most people learn about, you know, a lot of these stories of people through movies. So you got to also put a lot of influence of these people that are making the movies and how they're feeding the messaging and persuading the younger generation that's too lazy to go read their own books because they're too much on TikTok and Instagram. So universities for people after they're done with high school and college, it's movies. So media's got a lot of influence. Whoever's telling the story has got a lot of influence over people. So you got to also give some kind of power to the people that are telling the stories.